Now I feel the need to somewhat explain the Khanda symbol, since I keep using it to represent Khalsa. Well, I know that it's easy for us, and some of us do simply look at the Khanda and say, well, that left sword, that sword on the left, that represents truth. Oh, and that sword on the right, that represents willingness. And that center chakra sword, the circular one, that represents infinite God or holism. And that center Khanda sword within the Khanda symbol, that represents knowledge of God, or it represents sovereignty. Now this is all good and wonderful. Truth, willingness, God, holism, sovereignty. These things truly sound spiritually, ethically beneficial to us outside of the particulars of Punjab. They sound truly philosophically enlightening, indeed. But the same way we can say that about the Khanda, we could also do that with, say, that artistry symbol with the paintbrush and the painting board with all the different colors. Say all those different colors represent truth and reality and the different senses involved with reality. And the multicoloredness on the tip of that paintbrush, that represents the influx of our senses, creating a phenomenal experience for the being in reality. And that handle, the handle for the paintbrush, represents God's placement or God itself. Say even that board around all the paints. Oh yes, that too represents infinite reality of which God is a part of, and perhaps holism as well. And all these things sound wonderful and great as well. But it would be insincere for us to look at these symbols and deny that they're intimately tied into a particular context of a particular culture. It would be insincere of us to look at the Khanda symbol as if it does not have swords, just as it would be insincere to look at this paintbrush of a symbol and deny that there is paint in it. Now, I'm not saying that swords and paint are bad, but they are certainly unlike truth and reality and all those wonderful things which transcend a particular context. Paint and the sword could be meaningful, could be very wonderful and beautiful, and we might cherish them. But their beauty, their meaning, how we cherish them is wholly dependent on a context, on the paradigm in which they have use. So for the swords within the Khanda, that was dependent on the Punjab paradigm that had the factor of the Mughal Empire, where being a protector, being a guardian, becoming a warrior was a very important role to play. And the paint, as dependent on the Republic paradigm, where there was rampant despair, paint could have represented those who had the willingness to inspire people to live, that life was worth living rather than committing suicide. Now we want to say that all these wonderful things that we said these symbols represent, like truth and reality, God and sovereignty, these truly transcendental, philosophically enlightening things, that these things are what Sikhism is about. Because we want to say that Sikhism is itself something that transcends all these particular paradigms, that the beauty and meaning of Sikhism is not dependent on a particular context, that it can be beneficial to all humans in all contexts, that Sikhism can be applied to a multitude of contexts. So let's go over that logical relationship between Khalsa and Sikh one more time, now that we have an understanding of paradigms and contexts. So if you have Khalsa, then you have Sikh. But it doesn't go the other way around. Just because you have Sikh doesn't mean you have Khalsa, because there might be a number of other things to which Sikhism is essential too.